button. Yeah. Okay, thank you for joining me today. And today, thank you, Alan, for joining me today. And then today I will share three newses that I read this morning, and it's all pretty cool. The first one is on CNET. If you have your computer in front of you, you can take a look of CNET. And the title is Google makes it easier to record and share AR data on your phone. And this article is written by Scott Stein. So pretty much AR core tools let you create depth map without LiDAR on Android phones. And the tools may be extending to more apps. Okay, so pretty much Google at Google's virtual Google I/O developer conference this year, it seems like the company updates to its AR core tools on Android look like they are adding some of the same world scanning things that Apple's LiDAR does, but without LiDAR. And in ways that could layer that AR into pre-recorded videos. So pretty much they are using kind of like the shared data from other apps of the death, like the death map data. So pretty much they kind of the more interesting and mind-bending part comes with Google's ability to record and share death map data, which the company envisions as a way to place AR into things like pre-recorded videos. So if someone already had a death data for a certain room, then a video of that room could end up using that data to place objects into videos as effects. Perhaps for social videos, for example, like TikTok was listed as an example, or anywhere else. So pretty much Google first announced its depth censoring AR feature a year ago, but it's like open up sharing depth data between apps. That is new now. Right now, they start to using these types of technology, so it can pretty much final effects is similar to Apple's LiDAR. So yeah, so it's kind of like a time of flight TOF sensors. Yeah, so I mean, yeah, so what do you think of Google's, I mean, the sensor which allows you to place or record AR data on your phone without really using LiDAR? What do you think, Ellen?
Yeah, I haven't. I didn't hear about this information until you just mentioned that. But yeah, I think it's pretty cool. I think we talked a while back about the concept of how recording your history is changing over time. So for example, for the longest time, we've had just regular photographs. The technology in photography has changed over the years, obviously, from film to digital, and obviously there's other things along the way. But I had mentioned the possibility of taking point cloud photographs for future reference, where you can actually walk in, at some point when you want to go back and reminisce about the old days, you could actually go, like, potentially in VR into that photograph and walk around and look at things as opposed to just seeing it 2D. So I think technologies like this, to me, are really exciting because it just shows kind of where technology is going. Like in the near future, we'll be able to have some of this capabilities of maybe interacting more with the stuff that we did in the past. So I love that too. The other thing too that I think is awesome, and I just love the fact this is happening, is it's also competition for Apple. So every time Google does something in AR Core, it pushes Apple to do something even cooler in ARKit, and vice versa. And you need that competition. When you have that really kind of head-to-head competition in those areas, to me, that just pushes innovation further and further. We've always seen where there's less competition, then people kind of just are happy with what they have, and you don't see that progression going very far. So I love the fact that they're both kind of just trying to keep on the cutting edge of AR technology, and I think that the technology itself is pretty fascinating. So.
Yeah. Thank you, Ellen, for sharing the feedback and some thoughts. Yeah, and I totally agree with you. And then today I just listened to one audio book. It's called The End of the Powering. It seems like from the ancient time, the power is centralized, right? But when time goes by, all the centralized power is kind of start dissolving, right? So right now, I can see in in AR, VR, XR space, just like Ellen, you said that we need more people to do it. So it forced Apple or Microsoft or some other companies to work even harder in order to take up their leading space. But I am happy to see that before, when we think of all the really good technology or high end, we think about Apple, Microsoft. But the interesting things, if you think of VR's headset, right? You think of Oculus, HTC Vive, and it's not even Apple or Microsoft. And then you see, like, I feel like the power is starting, kind of distributing to some people who are really passionate about a certain area, and then they like the technology is kind of like getting a little bit of spray out, and Apple is like trying to launch their AR glass next year, but Facebook is trying so hard to beat Apple. So I find out that there are a lot of interesting competitions there, but it's all for good because we need those competitions so we can get a cheaper or better device in the future and easier to use. So I think this is a good competition. Yeah. Okay. So next news will be in Yale. This news is on Yale News. If you go to Yale News, and the title is called "A Safe Place." Medical researchers use virtual reality to reach youth. Okay, by Brita Belli. Okay, so in this news, you can see like in Yale School of Medicine, they have a lot of researchers working with some art department people. They kind of come up with some pretty cool and helping the youth to, I would say, reduce the addiction, right? Or kind of like eliminate possibility of getting into some bad habits. So for example, if you have computer in front of you, you can take a look. At the end, it has anti-vamping virtual reality game. It's designed by Invite Only VR. So pretty much in this game, before, I think I host a meetup group, and few months ago, I invited a professor in Yale, and then the whole event, she was talking about this anti-vaping virtual reality app. Pretty much, they kind of invite a bunch of students, and according to the research, it seems like the students play the game while kind of like in the future they learn how to reject their peers to let them try some e-cigarette, or like in the VR app. Pretty much it taught you a lot of ways to reject your peers and tell you like how bad it is for e-cigarette. So according to the final result, it seems like the middle school students who tried this app for a period of time, their they can reject or they are unlikely to have e-cigarette in the future. So it's kind of like using VR to change the behaviors of the youth, and the youth learn more about social the peer pressures, or like some stuff, and through VR gamification or game, it really helps them to change their behaviors and kind of like quit some bad behaviors or addictions, and for their healthier life in the future. So yeah, so Alan, do you have any thoughts for this news?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we talked before about the potential of VR being used on more of a psychological level. I think it's just incredibly powerful beyond just gaming, but the ability to use VR to not only treat different type of psychological conditions. So say, for example, you have a phobia, the ability to kind of go into this virtual environment and address those phobias, a fear of heights, a fear of spiders, a fear of anything. You can create that virtual environment to kind of help people do that. And it's the same thing, with not only kids, but adults, the ability to say, hey, we're going to teach you how to address. So if you have social, you're having a problem with social interactions, the ability to have a virtual environment where you can, kind of teach people how do you interact with another person. That's pretty powerful stuff there. And again, I think most people look at VR and think, wow, this is video games. But I think there's a whole nother area for VR in being able to kind of, treat people with different conditions, or just train them. Obviously as a training tool, and in this scenario here, training kids on how to, not only with the vaping, but say, for example, how to handle a bully, how to handle difficult kids. Like, there's all these things that we learn as we're growing, and we kind of have to do ourselves sometimes. But the ability to have some type of tool that says, hey, if you do come across this kind of scenario, this is how you might handle it. So I think it's awesome. I think it would be great to have more of these types of tools, and it'd be nice if there were, I guess, people out there that were developing the content for it, obviously, but I think it's a huge advantage, especially for kids.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, so before, I think just like Alan, you mentioned that VR can cure a lot of mental or social interactions. For example, like PTSD, right? I read some news. It seems like there's a software or VR app that helps soldiers to adapt a normal life, right? So yeah, I think that is definitely really helpful. Yeah. Any thoughts?
No, it's like I was saying before in a previous meeting. It's the psychology of the brain. So when you go into the VR environment, you start to kind of just lose track of everything else around you. You become kind of immersed in that specific virtual environment. But it also has a major effect on how your brain works, because your brain switches from a kind of a distant interaction. So it's kind of separating you from the interaction itself to kind of being involved directly in the interaction. So I think it definitely has this major potential there for just helping with a whole bunch of different types of conditions, and kind of helping people with cognitive issues as well. It just, I think there's a whole lot of areas that can be pursued.
Yeah, thank you, Alan, for your feedback. Yeah, so yeah, I think VR can definitely really help us, and I think there are a lot of people they are diving into all the research, and then bring up, like, in the future we might have a lot of very like a lot of apps that helps us to get rid of bad habits, and or nutrient, or like getting a better habit in doing something good for us. So yeah, looking forward to those. Cool. And the third one will be the news is TheVerge.com, The Verge. Yeah, and the title is called Oculus latest Quest update lets you record gameplay and yourself at the same time. So this news is by Cameron Faulkner. Yeah, so if you want to read the news in your computer, feel free to open the page. Yeah, so in this news, it seems like Oculus Quest 2 in that headset, they are going to have another updates, another kind of like software updates that allows you to use your iPhone XS or newer to, if you download an Oculus app on the iOS, you can pretty much, record yourself, and then it will kind of do the superimposing effect for the fine at the end. You can get a video that superimpose you in the with the background of, the background will be you see whatever you see through the VR headset. So it's kind of an image over or a video overlay with another video. So it allows that. Before, if without that new iOS update, you might need to, it might require you a cable PC, including a rig of 16 GB of RAM, a decent graphic card, and you need to have at least like a 1080p webcam, and the 5G Wi-Fi router, and of course you need to have a green screen. But right now, all you need to do is, you use your iPhone XS or newer, and you can Quest, the new iOS update, allows you to, just make a video which kind of like put whatever you see in the headset on the background, and then you can kind of having a superimposed videos. So it will show you like you are playing some, it will appears to show what you see through the headset with you standing in the same frame. But the old version, which required a lot of equipment, is much better, shows you actually doing some cool things in virtual environments. So I look at the difference. One is that everything is, I think the new software's name is Live Overlay. Live Overlay, the new iOS update, actually kind of overlay to videos, but it will look a little awkward. But if you use the Oculus Mixed Reality Creator tools with a bunch of very high-end tools, it actually shows you inside a 3D space and playing some cool stuff. So it's kind of like a little different, but it's kind of like if you want to have some simple setup and simple video to show you are doing some cool things, the iPhone XS, if you have iPhone XS or newer, Oculus updates called Live Overlay can really help you to, easily superimpose you doing some cool things in virtual reality. Yeah, so I think this is a pretty handy tools. Yeah, so do you have any thoughts, Ellen, for this news?
Yeah, it sounds sounds a bit like spectator view in the HoloLens, maybe. I think I've seen this before in a couple of like the VR video blogs, where they're showing themselves. They do have like kind of a green screen around them, and you can see both the person who's playing the game, but also the game around them as well. I think it probably has a lot of possibility in that area of gaming. But I do think two things. One is the technology will advance where you don't necessarily need the green screen, because there's a lot of like Zoom utilities these days that kind of just take the background away completely, even though you're there, you don't have a green screen. And the other is I really am, I guess, looking forward to seeing how people take the technology that's being developed and then turn it into some other type of useful purpose, be it video games or some type of utility. So yeah, it definitely, again, it's just great technology that's continued to get better and better. But it'll be interesting to see how this is utilized by people. So.
Yeah, I think for me, before I purchased a green screen for me to block out my background, but I find out that, if I kind of do that, my skin has some weird reflection. And then also, and actually the technology is still not that good enough. So you can still see some green.
It depends on what you're wearing, the contrast between you and the background. So I've noticed where I wear darker clothes and then the background's lighter, it has a better capability of separating. But yeah, I mean, that technology is just getting better and better as well. So it'll take a little time, but it's definitely getting there.
So I wish the technology can become better and better, and then it seems like it's trying to do something that is easier for the users to do, because if you want to do, you actually play something in virtual reality, probably need to have a whole room to be fully equipped for you to actually, film yourself inside the space. But right now, all you need to do is to have iPhone XS or newer, and you can do that, even though it's not as good as the old way, but it kind of shows something that you kind of want to show. It's not the best solution, but it's easy for you to to get the same, not really same effect, but you kind of achieve the goal. Yeah, cool. Yeah, any news from you, or do you have any like XR related topic you wanna bring? Or
no, not today. I have I do quite a bit of research on just the technologies that are coming out and things in general, but lately I've just been so busy with projects that I haven't had a chance to go out and scour the internet for information. So sorry about that.
Yeah, no worries. I mean, just like open topic. Yeah, cool. So thank you, Ellen, for joining me today. And so this is today's news, and hopefully you like it. And then hopefully I can see you tomorrow. Okay, thank you so much.
Take care.
Yeah,
thanks.
Thank you. Bye bye. Okay, thank you so much, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye bye.